I'm here with Sam Lucci from Think More, React Less, the author and the founder. Sam, take me back to the beginning.
As a 20 or 21-year-old, I graduated from college. I guess I was just about 22. I was actually married. I had my first child a week before my first anniversary. It came rather quick. I had 2 jobs before I had one. I went into teaching, $6,400 a year. They were making twice of that laboring in a steel mill, starving to death. So I had a second job. I worked for my cousins, actually. And I'd been in the remodeling business ever since I was 16 years old. So I worked for them and I taught, and that's how I got into the business. In 1972, I left teaching and went into business full-time and never looked back.
So, in your own words, Sam, were you a success or maybe not so successful when you first began?
Yes and no. I mean, I always paid my bills. I always made a living. My children had a little bit more than others. They never wanted for anything. I built a new house at 25 years old, but I knew how to do that, So I was successful, but knowing what I know now, I was just tipping my toe in the water. Because, what we don't realize is what makes us do what we do. And I had no idea. I had opinions that I never knew I had. Everybody thinks opinions are normal or they're natural, and that's just part of life. And they are, until you realize how devastating they are and do something about it. And that's, I didn't know that. I just kept fighting with life and looking. I'm a stubborn person. I wanted what I wanted, and I was an educator. I knew how to teach, and I like to learn what I like to learn. If I'm interested in it, I like to learn. And I just kept experimenting. When I realized no one had the answer, then I went off the reservation and went looking for it. And I didn't care where it went. It took me through some real hard parts of life to find it, but I didn't care. I got divorced, and I never thought that would ever happen. And I just kept following the trail to get what I wanted.
You spent a lifetime studying people to put this program together.
Yes. I spent a life of always wanting to help people. That's why I went into teaching. I thought I could make a difference. I like teaching, but it wasn't enough money in it. And really, teenagers, I taught teenagers, they're not ready. They're still kids, you can't blame them. I mean, they want to have fun and fool around. I was teaching them about government and economics, political science, things like that. They had no interest in it. So that was a little disheartening.
Sam, was there a moment, like an aha moment, when this all came together for you? When it started to make sense?
The first aha moment I had is when I read Think and Grow Rich. Napoleon Hill said in Think and Grow Rich, he said, there's a secret in here. And he says, when you find it, put the book down, get a glass of wine, toast it, it'll change your life. And that is when I heard the statement that said, whatever you believe, you can make true. What the mind can't conceive and believe it can achieve. Now, I use believe in a different way. I knew it was true. I thought all my problems were over and I could create salespeople now. But I couldn't make it work. But I knew it was true. That was the aha moment. The second real aha moment I realized in my training, now that it has matured, is that anybody who is not willing to understand that opinions, belief are synonyms, and that they're lies, and don't want to give them up, then they won't change. But if they're willing, if they're emotionally mature enough to say, hey, wait a minute, I see what you mean. God, I didn't realize that I've been doing this all my life. If I just make the switch, then I can start moving forward. And that was the second aha moment that I had.
Sam, what gives you the most satisfaction in putting this program together?
I think what's given me the most satisfaction, I don't know why, but ever since I was little, I always wanted to help people make the world better. My fellow teachers, when I was a school teacher, say, you want to save the world? And I thought, yeah, why not? That sounds like a good idea. But I always had that concept in my mind, I always want to see people live better. When I see a business growing, it makes me feel good. I see a new house going up, it makes me feel good. I see people that were disadvantaged coming up. I like that. So that would be my prime motivation. So my greatest satisfaction is that I actually figured it out. Anybody who's willing to be open-minded and take the steps can do it. That's my greatest satisfaction in life. And the fact that this B code now that we did, I want to see it all over every corner of the globe. My definite major purpose now is to make sure every human being has access to it. So when they're ready for it, it'll be there. Lots of people aren't ready for it yet, and that's okay. But when they're ready for it, it'll be there. And it's new information. It's an owner's manual for your mind and emotional system. There isn't going to be another. It's the only one. People will look at me and say, "Who in the heck are you? Who are you that you did this?" Well, you know why I did it? Because I used Napoleon Hill's. I used this formula. Any dominating desire, plan, or purpose, backed by that state of mind known as faith, taken over by the subconscious section of the mind, and carried out to its logical conclusion speedily. I said, I'm going to find the answer, what makes people do what they do, and why I can't train salespeople. I'm going to die looking for the answer. I wished I wouldn't have put die looking for the answer. That wasn't necessary, okay? But I would have, if I didn't have it, I'd still be chasing it. I know what makes people do. It's simple, but you have to realize, you have to be ready for it. In our whole world now, everything's run on opinion. Facts never get a chance to even talk about facts anymore. What's your opinion on this? What's your opinion on this? Well, okay, yeah, you have a right to an opinion. You also have an unlimited ability to create a life of your choice, too. And that's what this is all about.